Good morning, everybody. Hope you were able to prosper in my absence. I know Eric was gracious to come in and host the room for us, Eric and Bill, so appreciate that as always. Can't do this by yourself. We all need support and backup. Had a great trip to D.C. Met as officially last night. We found out my number two daughter's fiance. So I think they invited me back to D.C. to get my blessing unbeknownst to me. So things happened pretty quickly, but it was a great trip. The weather was fabulous, basically 80 degrees plus or minus, and got to see some interesting things. So I'm glad to be back, but happy to share the good news with you all. Trust everything went well for you all too. So here we are, ready to trade, and today's biggest dynamic is going to be the 2-year auction. And if the E-mini sells, it's going to be hard to buy this market on the cheap. We've got volume at 10. There's our attractor. We've got the start of a new distribution up at 10. So I put the first buy 7 to 11. Do like the market from the long side today, especially if the E-mini cooperates and sells, and buy 2 at 1 to 5. On the sell side, the structure is 17 to 21. When you come back and you look at the market, you can see that we haven't spent a lot of time above 20, nor have we spent much time below 124.04. So we're in a fairly tight range. And 1 to 5 puts us at the bottom end of the range. 19s to 23 on the sell side puts us at the top side. So we have a sell 1, 17 to 21, and then 23 to 27. It's hard for me to see the bottom falling out of the stock market because of it's the end of the second quarter, end of the month. Come next Monday, so I think the selling will be window dressing by large institutions, but I don't think anybody's going to come in and dump. I put up an article a couple of weeks ago, or read an article. David Freeman of the Wall Street Journal interviewed Ray Dalio, and they had studied 67 deleveraging situations by countries, and most of them don't end in catastrophic markets where the bottom just falls out of them. It's a gradual increase in inflation. Devaluation of the currency is the most usual outcome. So Ray Dalio sees an economy that's okay, maybe 1.5–2% growth. The Fed gradually getting out of its support for the market, and our economy stumbling through. They also did say we could have a lot more economic growth with different industrial and tax policies, but he didn't see any changes there either. So we're kind of be saddled probably with stagflation when you get down to it, according to Ray Dalio. But I think it's an interesting take on the market. You know, it's never as bad or as good as we think that it is. And right now, everybody in the back of their mind can see we're creating a potential catastrophe here with our currency, etc., and for the economy. But never as good, never as bad. It's going to be the way that we play it. Okay, this morning we got Case-Shiller. And it's called plus 11.4. I don't think a lot of people will pay attention to it, but they will like to see support in the housing market. That has not been as strong as forecast. FHFA price index plus 0.5%. That's pretty standard forecast right now for those that try to guess what last month's appreciation in housing has been. New home sales, wide fluctuations, huge factors are used to seasonally smooth this. So at 441K, biggest number of the day will be consumer confidence. 83.7. Richmond Fed will play, but it's a supporting role. It does not move markets, but it can add to buying. +7. And then the 2-year auction. So as far as the financials are concerned, consumer confidence, 1, new home sales 2, and then the 2-year auction 3. And when it's all said and done, the 2-year auction dynamics will drive the market. And they almost always, I mean, it's a sideways to higher market with this particular auction. So we're going to try to buy it on the cheap. See if we can't get through 124.20, and if we can't, we can turn to the sell side. Okay, on the 30-year, the knob spread strengthened quite a bit from yesterday's close overnight. And it's probably the easiest play from a just a long-term strategy. Take a look at where the knob spread is on that Friday or Monday when auctions start. Not always, but almost always yields you a nice little trade. Sometimes upwards. Sometimes you can catch a point out of it, depending on the volatility of the market. So taking a look at this market, you can see that we're not spending a lot of time above 136. So the stelling starts at 136, and we're not spending a lot of time below 135. So we have a 1-point range, which is what you'd expect. It's about a half point, 124.04 to 124.20 in the notes. So this fits. So right now we're at 18, 23, 27. That's S1. We're leaning against resistance. Obviously 31 to 03 is a more comfortable sell. On the buy side, we have a break in the market at 15. London's rotate down is 17, so we'll play for a little lower. We'll go 16 to 12 for buy 1. May have to pay 17s to get in. And then buy 2, we'll make it, let them get stopped, so we'll make 4 to 8 for buy 2. Okay, gold has taken off. I mean, people are talking about gold rallying up on the radio 2,000 before the year is out by those that sell the physical gold. But it's certainly been pretty strong, and you can see when you look at the distributions that there's been concentrated buying now. I don't know if it's the situation in Iraq. I don't know if it's the situation in Ukraine. I see Russia has declared a ceasefire once again, but it's being bought, and it could be acceleration of inflation in a great deal of the world. Retail accounts never left this. The large institutional buyer has been sidelined. We rallied, I think the article this morning said some $70. So we've got this little volume area that's pretty good support in the 13.12 to 15 area. And you can see that we've got low volume pretty much from 22 up to 30. So this round number at 25, 27 is sell 1. We like the buy side better. Sell 2 will be 29 to 31. And we've got the attractor up here at 34, so I have time to put that trade on. On the buy side, the breakout came at 19, so 19 to 21 for buy 1. Try to get in on that first rotate lower, and then 15 to 17, which has been pretty good resistance, but we got volume from 12, maybe as high as 18, so we're going to lean against the high volume area. I don't think the news has changed materially, the fundamentals, so gold, like we said, for the last several weeks, we're not really interested in being short overnight. We can take a short during the day, but on gold and crude, you can get your head handed to you overnight quickly from being short. It's, I mean, right now the dynamics and everything pointed higher, and I mean, you just really don't want to get in front of maybe not a freight train, but a semi. Okay, crude. Stories released over the weekend of atrocities in Iraq by ISIS. A lot of really good thinkers have written on ISIS versus Al-Qaeda, and it's much better financed, much better organized. It's really in a sense organized like Hezbollah is by the Iranians. They've got ministers of propaganda, ministers of atrocity films, I mean everything. They got tax collectors, etc. And if you make a lot of money, if you're in the 1%ers, even the Muslims will allow you to live as long as you pay a higher tax. And it's on their whim, of course. So they understand cash flow. But some articles out about atrocities or the massacres in Shia camps. And I mean, that's the way. I mean, if you're a Christian or a Shia and a Sunni captures you, watch out. If you're a Christian and a Sunni and a Shia captures you, I mean, game, set, match. That's the way it is. So last week we were looking at sellers above 107. I think that's still true, and we said buyers below 105. That wasn't the case. It's buyers below 105.50. We're kind of in the middle. The spill, the last rotate on Friday came against 75. So 50 to 75 will be sell 1, sell 2, 107, 7.25. And again, on crude, we really just don't like the short side of the market at the close of the day session. We think there's fraught with risk. So 75 to 106 will be buy 1. And then our 25 to 105.50 will buy 2. I don't see us getting there. I think support has been tested and held. Now they're going to take it up to resistance. Okay, to the euro. The euro was up overnight. The yen was up a little bit. I guess the dollar was up on Friday, and that's time for it to sell. I wasn't here on Friday, so I don't know. But if someone asked me to say why, that's why I would do it. The euro is notching higher right here. The European Central Bank, contrary to the UK and the United States, has cut its interest rates. Normally that would bring in selling, but it's higher. So because of that phenomenon, I'm not afraid to sell it. So we'll make 36.40 to 50, sell 1. And then 65.75, sell 2. And on the buy side, we're at 23, so 36.10, buy 1. Right in the middle. Got a lot of volume right down in the 07 area. And then we'll make 75.85, buy 2. Don't think we can get below the buck. But you never know. You can make your best guess and then get after it. And most of the times you're right, but every now and then you're not. And that's just part of this game. And most people really don't appreciate this. You think that a certain element in the market really knows, and they are a hell of a lot better informed than the average bear, but they're not right all the time either. And you can see that when you see big numbers caught long or short at highs or lows. But they don't stick their neck out the entire time. They plan on working the markets. They've earned the right to trade size. They know what they're doing, and they pick up the pieces and put it back together and start the game all over again. Okay, everybody's favorite market, the E-mini. The end of the second quarter is next Monday. I just don't see this market breaking or selling off between selling before the end of the second quarter. The expectations were 19 to 1950. We've been flirting with 1950 plus or minus. Probably we'll be flirting with 1950 for the entire week. So there's not a lot of incentive. If you cut your paycheck by selling securities, you probably aren't inclined to do that. So I think we've got a 1935 to 40 support market and 1955 to 60 sell. Sellers right now, you can see that we've rejected prices above 58.50, and you can see that we, in K period, we've rejected prices below 39. So we got some pretty good support at 39 and some pretty good resistance at 58, and we're not quite in the middle. So we have this low at 43, 44, and we'll make our first buy zone 44, 46. And if it stops below the overnight, I do think we might be able to do a little bit better. Then we'll make 40 plus or minus, say 39, 41 for buy number 2, leaning against that breakout, which the market would like to retest this breakout back here in the 37, 39 area. On the sell side, 54, 56. And then 59.61. Let them get stops above the current high. Now, we do have news this morning, and news will impact the trading. So Case Shiller had it 11.4. Don't think it'll have any impact. They'll look at it. They hopefully it goes higher. I know the Fed wants it to be higher. Coming above that one. We have price FHFA at plus a half. That's just where these guys end up every month. Plus a half. New home sales. And they'll look at this number and they would like to see it come in higher, but certainly no lower than 440. And then the big number is consumer confidence, 83.7. The big news comes at 10 Eastern. And then Richmond Fed at plus 7. Some of these regions, Fed regions have been coming in a lot stronger than forecast. And Philly Fed was much higher than forecast, so maybe Richmond comes in too. But this will be the number 1, number 2, and number 3 in my opinion. So like to get short first to see if we can really test the breakout down there at 37.39. But if we can't crack the 45 area, we can get long and see if they're going to take it higher. Any questions? It'll take about 15 minutes to get all my stuff done. Get busy on that. And I'll be back up and running as soon as we can. In the meantime, good trading.